In this episode, I chat with Dante Spencer. He shares how he got started modeling, what happens at an open call, and how he got signed by Ford Models.
So my name is Dante Spencer, and I've been a male model for 20 years.
20 years,
yeah.
Whoa. Okay. How did you get started in the business?
I ended up getting an agent down in San Diego because I was going to this workshop, and they were kind of teaching you how to get an agent and what to do in the business, and talking about commercials and talking about print jobs and modeling and
So when did you originally start modeling? Like, when did you have this thought, hey, I think I want to be a model?
Originally, wasn't even trying to get into modeling. I was trying to be acting. So I was down in San Diego, and I was like minoring in theater, and I went to this open call for like a daytime soap opera thing that they were having a huge like cattle call audition. And so I auditioned, and then I got like called for like a callback kind of a thing. And then when I was there, I got approached by like this management company that had workshops, and the workshops that they had, they taught about the business, they taught about modeling, they taught about acting and commercials. So I started going to this workshop, and then they would kind of tell us about the business. And then one of the things is they gave us a list of all the agencies in San Diego, and they said, take your headshots and just go into the agency. Like, they don't want you to do that, but just do it. And so I just, one by one, went off the list and went into the agencies. And like I said, I got denied probably on all of them. And then like Shaman Freitas was like the one lowest on the, almost like the second to the last probably. And then I walked in there, and then they actually, the front desk person was kicking me out. And then there was a booker.
What do you mean kicking you out? Like,
well,
so
because
you went
you're
in
not,
there and showed
yeah, because I didn't have an appointment or anything. So I just went in there and said, hey, I have a headshot. And they're like, oh, we don't accept walk-ins, so you got to leave. And so as I was starting to leave, I was like, well, can I leave my headshot? And they're like, no, we don't have. And then one of the bookers was walking by.
Wow.
And he's like, who are you here to see? And I was like, oh, I was just dropping off my headshot because I was seeking representation. And he goes, what's your name? And I go, Dante.
Awesome, yeah.
And he goes, he's looking at me, and he goes, come on back, let's talk.
Awesome.
And he took me back in his office. And so
what did you guys talk about?
he was just asking me, what I wanted to do, and I was focusing on the acting. And so they signed me, but San Diego is such a small market that they ended up saying, well, you shouldn't just do acting, you should also do commercials, and you should also do modeling. So then they set me up with a photographer to shoot like a Z card, a comp card, with different images, so they can submit me for modeling jobs as well. So I really wasn't expecting to do modeling. But
tell me about your interview with Ford Models.
so I finally got signed with Ford after 3 times. So I got denied from Ford twice.
Okay. Tell me about your first experience there.
The first time,
how they said no, why they said no.
so the first time I went into Ford, it was an open call. So they have like these open calls that usually most of the agencies have open calls just to see if they can take on potential talent. So I went to the open call. So there's a bunch of other models that wanted to sign with Ford, and you show your book, your portfolio, your pictures.
Do you remember what you wore?
I don't remember what I wore, but I try to look obviously nice, And I went in there, and then so what they do is they have like a secretary or whatever, and then you hand them your book, your portfolio, and then they take it in the back to show it to the bookers. So I never met the bookers.
Okay.
So what happens is if the bookers look at your book and they like you, then they bring you back. So I never even got that. So the front desk person comes back with my book and a piece of paper that says they're not interested, but here's some other agencies in LA that may be interested in you. And as soon as I shaved my head, I had a buddy who was with Ford, and he's like, hey, I really like your look. He goes, you should go see Ford, my agency. And I was like, well, they've denied me a couple times. He goes, yeah. He goes, but they were just saying that they are looking for like an ambiguous or Latin kind of look, so it might be good to do that. Well, I didn't have any pictures with a shaved head. So he says, you should shoot with this guy. And then I had another friend that had said, you should shoot with this guy too. And it was like the same guy. So I'm like, I guess I should shoot with this guy. And he also knew the booker at Ford. And so I shot with him, and he's like, okay, I'm going to set an appointment up with Ford. Don't show them any of your old pictures with your hair.
Okay.
Take it fresh. And so I went in there, and I actually got to meet the booker for the first time.
Wow.
Her name was Mary Anderson. I got to meet her.
Uh-huh.
And
do you remember what she asked you, what type of questions that she was asking you? What did you do when you walked in there? Like, what can you play back?
I took out all my pictures that were in my book, and I only put the new pictures with my shaved head. So I had that in my portfolio, and that was it. I really didn't say much. I just said, I'm interested in possibly getting new representation. I'm already represented, but I'm interested in maybe possibly switching agencies if it's right. And so she looked at my book, the pictures, and she liked the look, and she's just like, I think we could use you. All right, let's get to work. And then it was like a little slow at first. I got a few small jobs, and then I was seeing a lot of clients, and they were submitting me to a lot of clients all over the United States. And then I slowly just started, like, I got in with Macy's, and so I started going to San Francisco to shoot Macy's a lot. Then I was going to shoot JCPenney catalog in Dallas, in Texas, and I started doing that a lot. Then I started going to New York a lot because I signed with Ford across the board with Ford in New York.
How were your relationships with your bookers?
My relationship with my bookers, like Mary Anderson, was great because I was like, she finally took me on, you know, and I had known who she was in Ford for a long time, and I had been denied. So once they started working me, my rates were so high because Ford's a great modeling agency. And I started to work a lot, so I was just very professional. I always wanted to show up on time to all my appointments, to my jobs. Didn't want to do anything to sabotage my work. I was very thankful. I started making more money than I ever had made. I quit real estate because I started working and making so much more money doing modeling.